Guys, it's happening. It was only a matter of time until this became our reality, but the 6'7" kid is finally dropping a crypto. That is right. He recently came to Twitter with this video where he says, "We're ready to bring 6'7" into crypto." Anyways, if you get rug pulled and scammed by the 6'7" kid, I don't feel bad, you deserved it. We already saw this go down with the Hawk Tua coin. It's not going to be any different. I hate that I have to talk about this, but I feel an obligation to since this is my job. It was recently June 7th, meaning the date was 6/7, and at 6:07 p.m. on 6/7, a bunch of people in New York City met up in a park to celebrate 6/7.
3, 2, 1.
New York City is something else. I swear to God, they have a meetup for like everything. The crazy thing is it looks like they're all adults. These are all grown people. We're so done. We're done. Heart-shattering news here, guys. In-N-Out locations had to completely remove order number 6'7" from their system. Now, if you're wondering why, it's because of a viral TikTok trend where people would do this on order 6'7".
Get 6'7"!
As you can see, it was causing just a bit of a disturbance. I honestly don't blame them for making this change. I mean, the first few videos were pretty funny, I can't lie. But then it got to a point where children were literally harassing the workers at In-N-Out to say 6'7" when they didn't want to because they knew it would cause the place to erupt and cause a scene. So yeah, I get it. So everybody's been talking about the legendary 72-in-1 Barbasol shampoo, conditioner, body wash. I'm not going to read the other 69. If you want to check them out, you can read this yourself. Now, I'm going to be honest, I was only aware about the 13-in-1 until my good friend Evan posted this video where he finds the 72-in-1. I will say the only slight confusion I do have is the fact that the Queen of England is included in the 72-in-1. Last time I checked, she is no longer with us, which would technically make this a 71-in-1. I'm just saying. Still great versatility, but it's worth noting. So the entire internet is currently losing its mind arguing over one thing right now, and that is who would win in a fight, 100 men or one gorilla. Matter of fact, this argument has gotten so heated that Mr. Beast even tweeted out this, suggesting that we can test it all out with a 100 men versus a gorilla video. Now, obviously this is a joke, hopefully, but with how certain some people are that they think 100 men could beat the gorilla, I wouldn't be surprised if Mr. Beast could actually make this video happen. Personally, I won't be signing up for that video. Someone did a simulation and the gorilla won with ease. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. So scientists just discovered a new color. I'm not even kidding, and I'm about to show you it, but there's a catch. And the catch is that it can only be seen by firing lasers into someone's eye. Apparently, the scientists behind this had 5 volunteers who decided to get lasered in the eye so that they could see this color. I'm not sure who would ever want to do that, but I guess people did. They're saying that it's a super saturated blue-green color that looks kind of like this. And honestly, judging off of that description, I feel like it probably wasn't worth the lasers in the eyes. So I personally won't be seeing this color ever. So this YouTuber is claiming that he has finally cracked Coca-Cola's secret formula after dedicating an entire year of his life to researching it. This is the same formula that's been hidden for 140 years and is currently locked in this massive steel vault and protected like it's the Holy Grail. Anyways, apparently this is the formula according to his video. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for showing that to you guys. Speaking of which, we might want to keep an eye on the dude who made this video because if he like mysteriously goes missing a week from now or so, we know exactly who did it. So this NFL player, Aaron Rodgers, he's an absolute menace. I guess he was recently at a golf event and this little kid threw a football to him, expecting Aaron Rodgers to throw it back. And once Aaron saw the football, he grabs it, turns around, seems to look this kid dead in the eyes, and then he throws it the opposite direction to the crowd. And then the kid cried. It probably ruined his whole week. Listen, as a Jets fan, I've had very similar reactions to where Aaron Rodgers throws the football. Slightly different circumstances, I guess. I'd probably be more distraught if Aaron Rodgers grabbed my ball, chucked it, and then went on with his day like nothing happened. It happened, guys. The Knicks won. They're going to be going to the finals for the first time in 27 years. And as we all expected, the streets of New York City turned into an absolute disaster. Before the game, this video surfaced of NYPD officers preparing for Armageddon if the Knicks win. They did, and as you can see, it was mob. This is the middle of the road, by the way. Cars were trying to get through. These guys somehow managed to climb on top of a subway stop. Then there's this guy who got arrested for climbing a pole. But as you can see, it doesn't look like this stopped more people from climbing poles. Granted, this game wasn't even in New York, and it wasn't the finals. Who knows what it's going to look like at a home finals game? So I recently spoke about the absolute anarchy anarchy that took place in Paris after they won in the Champions League final. There were fires in the streets, people burning cars, looting buildings. As you can see, it looks like the purge just went down. This is what it looked like in the morning after all of the quote-unquote celebrations that took place, and as you can see, it looked like a hurricane rolled through Paris. It's not even funny how bad it really got. People were getting harassed left and right. As cars would drive through the streets, people were breaking the windows. I even saw some videos of people inside the cars getting assaulted. It really was just an absolute disaster. Mind you, Paris won the game. Their team won the game, and now they're destroying their city and hurting their own people. Make it make sense. In 2017, this dude paid a $212 speeding ticket fully in pennies. After getting the ticket, he thought it was quite unfair since he was only going 9 miles an hour over the limit. So he went to the bank, got a ton of pennies, individually unwrapped each roll the pennies came in, and then put them all into 2 huge buckets. This guy was committed. In total, he brought over 22,000 pennies to the court and dumped them all on the counter when he got there. The people working there had to count them. Luckily, they had machines, but it still took them over 3 hours. They also found out that he overpaid by $7. He told them they could keep the change.
Just a good old boy.
Oh my goodness, this might be one of the most disgusting things I have ever seen in my life. Putting ranch on pizza? Are you kidding me? That should be illegal. I don't think I'll be able to recover after seeing that. Can we please talk about how Nicolas Maduro getting kidnapped and arrested somehow turned into a massive Nike marketing campaign that they didn't even have to pay for? As we all know, this now infamous picture of him went viral where he is seen wearing a Nike Tech sweatsuit. And obviously because of that, Google searches for that exact sweatsuit spiked, and I'd be shocked if orders didn't too. Now, why the hell was this man in a Nike Tech out of all outfits? I don't know. But honestly, if I were suddenly swept out of bed by masked gunmen at 3 a.m. and thrown onto a red-eye flight without my usual carry-on or snacks, this is exactly the type of cozy outfit I would want to be wearing too. My most viral YouTube short on here might be one of the dumbest videos I have ever made. It has 192 million total views, and it is literally me getting rage baited. As you can see, it's a dropshipping ad for this ball. The guy says it's not reversed, but it's clearly reversed because the water moves backwards. And I'm an idiot because I called it out as if they didn't put that there so that they can get engagement and sell more of the balls.
All right, listen, not to be that guy, but the water literally reverses.
And literally every single seller uses this strategy to the point where I haven't seen one video of them actually dropping the ball normally. So you know what I did? I got the ball and I bounce it in this video you can find on my channel. So Samsung just started putting ads on their smart refrigerators. That's right, if you paid for one of those $3,000 refrigerators with a screen on it, a new update is coming out that's gonna force you to watch ads on the screen you paid for. I just talked about the bathrooms in China that make you watch an ad to get toilet paper, and now that I'm seeing this, I'm losing my mind. Apparently, it's a brand new program that they're testing out, which means this is just the beginning. Soon that godforsaken refrigerator is gonna know when we're hungry and show us exactly what food we've been wanting. Just another reason not to buy a smart fridge. I feel like they're pretty unnecessary anyways. Unless you're watching my videos on it, then it's justified. If you know, you know. So not too long ago, this guy who had been insecure his whole life because of his large forehead decided he wanted to make the best of it. So he came up with an idea. It was to sell ad space on his forehead. He posted this video.
I'm selling ad space on my forehead. I've gotten a lot of comments calling me chopped and a lot of attention on my forehead.
And before he knew it, the video blew up with comments from Mr. Beast, KFC, Duolingo, GoPuff. His plan was actually working. Now, while Mr. Beast said he was gonna buy it all, he actually did not follow through. Luckily though, it seems like there's still quite a bit of demand because every other week this guy has a different promotion on his forehead. He really is making money from this. Amazing. So Google just came out with Genie 3, which is basically a platform where people can make any AI generated game they want. Someone already created a working version of GTA 6. Now you can't really do anything other than walk or drive around, but just look how good this looks. Someone remade Subway Surfers in a matter of seconds and it looks exactly like the real game. I came across this bread simulator and I also found this fish that is trying to escape kitchen simulator. I can't even imagine how much RAM this kind of thing is taking up, but I will say the future of gaming looks quite interesting. It is so wild to think that this video of Will Smith eating spaghetti used to be the peak of AI. What happened? So ChatGPT just released its newest update and it is wild. You can basically take a picture now and turn it into anything. I can become a cartoon character in a second. I can become a Simpsons character in a second. I could become a Minecraft character in a second, or I could even become a Roblox character in a second. Listen, as cool as this is, I'm scared. Okay, we are moving too fast. A few years ago, this is what an AI-generated image of a dog looked like. I thought we were fine, but now, if I want to become a Muppet, boom.
I'm a Muppet now. It's scary, guys. Imagine what it's gonna be like 10 years from now. We are cooked.
So there's this restaurant over in Indonesia that's been going viral because right outside the place, they have this huge AI-generated poster of what looks like one of their meals, but the AI makes it look so horrid to the point where I don't think there's a single person who would find it appetizing. I mean, it looks like there's bugs crawling on it. The really sad thing about this is they have a website where they have real pictures of their food, and the food actually looks good. On top of that, the place has good reviews, but they are just doing themselves so dirty by having this up. It's honestly becoming a real problem everywhere. In the past month, I have come across so many restaurants that don't even show real pictures of the food. It's all AI generated. Maybe I'll do a video where I go to every AI generated restaurant to see which ones are actually good. I don't know. So I recently spoke about this AI slop fruit Love Island account that's been taking the internet by storm because it's gained over 3 million followers in just 9 days. And boy, do I have some good news. They just commented saying that they are losing motivation, and their reasoning for this was that these videos take too long to make. What's taking long? Typing the prompt in? I don't get it. They also went on a crazy crash out on their story where they like cursed all of their viewers out. So it's not looking good for them, and I'm not complaining. Guys, I can't even believe I'm making this video, but Tung 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 Sahur is officially in Fortnite. Do you guys realize how crazy it is how far this genre of AI slop has gone? I remember the first ever time Triple T originated on the internet when this guy, one of the original Italian brain rot creators, posted him. That was a little over a year ago, and somehow this AI generated meme has managed to stay so relevant that he's now in one of the world's largest games. I don't get it. What even is he? Like the other ones, you know, it's a crocodile, cappuccino, but this, I have no clue what this is. So there's a company that made AI-powered stuffed animals that can have full-on conversations with kids. I mean, what could go wrong with that? Now, my first thought when I heard about this was these plushies going rogue and telling these kids who knows what, but the company swears they've put limits on it so that they can't go off the rails. Even then, though, I don't know if I trust that. According to this article, someone was already able to mess around with it just enough to get it to tell them where the bleach is found in the house, so a little scary. The good news is parents can see the conversations that kids are having with them, but even then, I just hate the whole idea. They're selling it as a way for kids to cut down on screen time and end the iPad kid epidemic, but it's not much better. In my opinion, kids are supposed to use their imagination, not have a robot teddy bear do the thinking for them. Can't say I didn't see this one coming. So there's a company that has this teddy bear with AI built into it so that it can talk to kids. And in a not so shocking turn of events, it had to be taken off the market because it was able to tell kids things that kids do not need to know. Basically, a group of researchers bought the bear to test the safeguards around it, and it pretty easily told them where to find knives, pills, matches, and plastic bags. It also gave the researchers extremely detailed information about other adult topics that no teddy bear should be talking about. It actually blows my mind that there might be parents out there who would actually consider buying their kids something like this. So the airline company JetBlue just completely exposed themselves after their Twitter admin accidentally admitted to using kind of shady pricing tactics. It all started when someone tweeted out, "I love flying JetBlue, but a $230 increase on a ticket after one day is crazy." Then JetBlue responded saying, "Try clearing your cache and cookies or booking with an incognito window." Basically admitting that they raise flight prices for people whose browsing history suggests that they need one. The worst part is that JetBlue later deleted the tweet when they realized they kind of exposed themselves, which just makes it look way worse. Today I came across this viral camera footage of an elderly woman who checked in at the airport and then she got confused and entered through the luggage compartment before falling over. The craziest part about this video to me is the fact that nobody noticed until the very last second. One more second without realizing and Granny would have been gone. Well, guys, Donald Trump just came out and said that he's going to be releasing government files related to aliens and extraterrestrial life. So very soon, we may know if aliens actually exist. According to Kalshi, there's a 23% chance that the US confirms aliens exist before 2027, which is a shockingly high number. The thing that sparked all of this was this interview clip where Obama said aliens exist, and obviously it went quite viral because he was a sitting president. He ended up clarifying by saying he saw no evidence of extraterrestrial life during his presidency, but who knows? I'm quite excited to see where this goes. So TSA, you know, airport security, had to recently make an announcement telling people to stop using their Costco cards as IDs to get on planes. The reason for this is because TSA recently updated their policy, saying you must have an updated real ID which has this gold star on it in order to board a plane now. And you know what else has a gold star on it? A Costco membership card. The announcement said, "We love hot dogs and rotisserie chickens as much as the next person, but please stop telling people that their Costco card counts as a real ID, because it absolutely does not." Hopefully it was a joke.
If not, I'm losing faith in my country.
If you're living on the west coast of the USA, there might be a toilet paper shortage coming very soon. And it's all because this moron threw a hissy fit and decided to burn down a 1.2 million square foot warehouse that houses toilet paper. That one guy caused literally all of this destruction. And he even posted this video of him doing it on Facebook, essentially outing himself as the one responsible, while complaining that the reason he's doing this is because he's not getting paid enough. Like this is gonna magically fix the issue. The whole video and situation is crazy. If you want to see everything I just posted this video, you can check out on my channel. Throwback to when a Facebook group shamed a Lamborghini owner for parking in a disabled spot. They sarcastically said, have Lamborghinis so we'll park however and wherever I like, even if that means depriving a disabled person of a space. That post got a lot of traction, a bunch of people were agreeing, and then it backfired really badly. That's because the owner of the Lamborghini followed up with this post that says, a picture for all my fans. This is a prime example of why minding your business can be a really good idea most of the time. It's also crazy that a bunch of people just assumed you can't be rich and disabled at the same time. Like, what? So by now, you've probably seen this video that went super viral of some little kid who made a 6'7" diss track, and obviously he got a ton of praise for this because a little kid who doesn't want to say 6'7" is very rare. Now, unfortunately, I have some really bad news. I was going to make a regular video about this, but then I clicked on his account. He just dropped a crypto coin. I can't make this up. It just happened. Now, obviously, this isn't the kid trying to scam a bunch of people. Unfortunately, he's probably getting taken advantage of by a bunch of older individuals who want to make money off of him. I really hope there's some adult involved on his part, but sadly, by the looks of it, I don't think there is. If that is the case, these guys are genuine scumbags. I'm not surprised, though. Guys, did we just witness another one of the worst live stream donations of all time? It was on Kai Cenat and iShowSpeed's big Minecraft hardcore stream. As you can see, it was late at night, they were sleeping, and then this guy comes in with a $500 donation. It said, here's 500, please do Terraria Marathon in the future, it's 2D Minecraft. Saved up a ton for this, I hope you will do Terraria, much love. Bro, what are we doing? They were sleeping. This is the worst time to donate $500 that you saved up for. I guess there is an argument that it wasn't a bad time to donate since the whole thing went viral and now I'm making a video about it, but something tells me he's just a kid who got a hold of his mom's car. Remember that senator from Australia who made a speech in Parliament using only brain rot terms?
To the Sigmas of Australia.
Well, she just dropped a sequel.
The Goodyear government is still capping, but is anyone surprised? When a Rizless, oralist, Unk Prime Minister is running a show, a chopped government is what follows.
Yeah, I never thought I'd hear the term oralist Unk Prime Minister in a legitimate legal setting, but here we are.
ICL, TSPMOSM, wilted rose emoji.
She just physically said wilted rose emoji, and she seems to be using every term correctly, and it's kind of sad that I know that. But anyways, wait till you hear how she finishes this one off.
So, Sigmas, keep hope posting, keep mewing, and keep doing it your best, twin. Those who know. Oh, and 6'7".
I hate to say it, but this is actually so impressive considering the amount of research it must have took her to nail every term correctly. As someone whose job it is to quite literally live on the internet, I know that without living on the internet, it would take hours to learn all of these terms. So I gotta say, this is dedication, and I can't wait for part 3. So the entire internet absolutely hates this guy right now, and he just so happens to be another major CEO. It all started when this video went viral of a tennis player at the US Open offering his hat to a little kid, and then he just swoops in there and snags the hat that was obviously supposed to go to the poor kid. Now the internet's insane because they immediately found out who this guy is. He's the CEO of a huge company in Poland. Because of this, he ended up making a statement, but he didn't apologize, he doubled down. He said life is first come, first served, and if you were faster, you would have it. Which is crazy because the player was obviously trying to give the hat to the kid. He also threatened to sue anyone who criticizes him for what he did, which is insane. Luckily, because of all of this, the kid did end up getting to see the player again and got another hat. Well, would you look at that, guys? Another cruise ship just had another massive virus outbreak. What is going on? You already know about the hantavirus on that small luxury cruise ship, but now we have another one on a much bigger ship. This time it's a norovirus outbreak with around 115 people being infected, and it's all happening on the Caribbean Princess, which is currently on a 13-night voyage through the Caribbean. It sounds like absolute hell for everyone on the ship. Now, norovirus is also known as the stomach flu, you know, diarrhea, vomiting, all that fun stuff, and while it is highly contagious, we are a lot more familiar with it and how to stop the spread, so luckily it won't turn into something crazy, or at least I don't think so, knock on wood. But anyways, I don't know if I'll ever go on a cruise ship ever again. First it was the hantavirus, then it was the norovirus. I don't know if you guys remember the poop cruise video I made a while back where everyone was stuck on a poop infested ship. That sentence sounds crazy. You would understand if you watched the video. So yeah, no cruises for me anytime soon. So by now we all know about the massive heist in France where a bunch of priceless jewelry was stolen from the Louvre in Paris. And just when we thought things couldn't get any worse, another museum in France was just robbed. This time it was 2,000 gold and silver coins, some of which dating back to over 200 years ago. Now a lot of people are saying it could be the same people who robbed the Louvre in broad daylight, but personally, I think it's just a coincidence that these things happened around the same time. But you never know, maybe a few days from now we're gonna hear about another museum getting robbed in France. Guys, another huge gaming leak just dropped from one of the most trusted sources in the world, Legit Gaming Leaks. And this time around, he said, "My sources tell me that Santa Claus will be delivering various video games, consoles, and possibly some accessories too to certain households later this week. It's part of the annual Christmas event." Guys, if this news is true, it would be unbelievable. Absolutely groundbreaking. I truly don't know how this guy gets all of the inside information he does, but what would we do without Legit Gaming Leaks? Oh my goodness. Today I learned about this woman from France who is currently suing the company she worked at because they paid her fully for 20 years, but assigned her no work. That's right, she was paid in full and didn't have to do any work, and she's suing the company. It makes no sense. Apparently she was working from home at the time too, which means she didn't have to go into the office and could have done basically whatever she wanted while getting paid. I mean, for most people, this is the dream scenario. You get to find new hobbies, volunteer, basically do whatever you want while getting paid. And she's suing them for it? Make it make sense. They're back to when the CEO of Costco almost killed one of his employees over a hot dog. Yep, that's right. It all started because an executive under the CEO was worried that inflation would eat into Costco's profits. The $1.50 hot dog was actually losing money at the time, so he suggested, why don't we just raise the price? To which the CEO of Costco responded saying one of the most iconic lines of all time: "If you raise the effing hot dog, I will kill you." That was over 10 years ago, and now inflation is at an all-time high. But you know what hasn't changed? The price of the Costco hot dog. That bad boy is still $1.50. Another day, another virus making major headlines. Guys, this time it is in Africa. There is a major Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda. It's gotten so bad with over 100 deaths to the point where the World Health Organization has declared a global health emergency. Now, if you're wondering what Ebola even is, well, it's only one of the most lethal viruses on Earth. Yeah, not too good. And during the 2010s, there was a major outbreak of this virus that killed over 10,000 people. The USA already restricted travel from any of the places that were hit by this, which is a good thing. Hopefully it doesn't get out of hand, and hopefully they contain this thing. A few days ago, some random guy hopped on Twitter and said that Nickelodeon accidentally emailed him the entire Avatar: The Last Airbender movie. He dropped a tiny clip from the movie, not the whole thing, and a lot of people didn't believe he actually had the entire movie. So that's when he responded saying, "I wasn't kidding about it being the whole movie." And then he drops the entire movie on Twitter. I'm not sure how you accidentally email the movie to a random person, but someone at Nickelodeon is losing their job. The funny thing is, this is not even the first time. I remember a while back, Nickelodeon teased the new Plankton movie, saying Plankton the movie releases on Netflix on March 7th. And that's when another random dude comes in responding and says, actually, it releases now, and just dropped the whole movie over an hour long. Someone's got to work on their security. For the past 24 hours, everyone has been talking about this building in New York City because, well, it could collapse. Basically, it's a 37-story building from the 1970s that's been undergoing a conversion from office space to luxury apartments. And about a day ago, many of the construction workers working on that building noticed bricks falling from the top. That's when they saw this on the 21st and 22nd floors. As you can see, those support beams are totally bending. That's not supposed to happen. This then led to a bunch of cracks throughout the building and sagging floors, which are all signs that this building could at least partially collapse. Because of this, they had to completely evacuate the area. Like, a bunch of streets were totally shut down. Some people can't even go to work because their building is like right there. Now, luckily they caught on to this soon enough and it seems to be under control, so there shouldn't be any major injuries or deaths, which is a very good thing because in the past, buildings have collapsed without people knowing they would. As you know, I recently spoke about the scam call raid where a dude dressed a bunch of people up as SpongeBob and they just went ham through the whole place. And guys, you're not gonna believe it, but another scam call raid just went down. This time around, it's not SpongeBob though. It's that one guy from Fortnite. Now, the one thing about this this second go around that I find interesting is the fact that everyone in the scam call center is kind of just filming all of the madness. I mean, they honestly look like they're enjoying the whole thing. And if I had to guess, the reason for that is probably just because they hate their boss. He also said the police were coming at the end of the video, which just, I don't understand that at all. Did one of the scammers call the police? It can't be. So there's a new style of TikTok pranks that's been going viral, and it's already getting a little bit too out of hand. Basically, what someone does is they take a picture of another person's car in a parking lot, then they use AI to make it look like the car is smashed, stolen, or being stolen from, and then they find the person who owns that car, show them the AI picture, and act like they saw it all go down. But one guy decided to take things to the next level when he decided to do it to cops. Like this video where he shows the cop his car getting stolen, the cop sprints out of there and then realizes, wait, it didn't get stolen. He then made another video where he shows a different cop his car getting stolen from. The cop ends up walking out of there, checks everything in his car, super confused. And that was his last video doing it, because when he tried to film the next one, he got arrested. I wonder what the official charges for something like this are, but anyways, I had a feeling it wouldn't last too long. Go back to 1998 when there was a massive anti-drug campaign in schools all over America where these pencils that say "too cool to do drugs" were handed out to students. Now, whoever designed these pencils was not the brightest, because it didn't take long for students to realize that once they sharpened it just a little bit, it said "cool to do drugs." Sharpen it a little bit more, then it says "do drugs." And then even more, it just says "drugs." So yeah, they realized that 75% of the time, these pencils are actually just promoting drugs, and it wasn't long after that they recalled them all over. Guys, an NBA team just did an April Fool's joke that backfired so much to the point where they had to apologize to the entire fan base. It was at a Wizards game where they pulled this guy out from the stands and they told him that if he makes this blindfolded half-court shot, he's gonna win a bunch of money. $10,000 to be exact. Then they told everybody to freak out like he made the shot once he misses the shot. Of course he misses the shot, and they make him think that he made the shot. He's freaking out like he just won $10,000. The mascots are going crazy, and then they tell him April Fools. The video ended up going viral because of how brutal the prank was to the poor guy, to the point where the Wizards had to apologize. They told everybody that the entire thing was scripted, and even the guy who missed the shot was in on it. So it actually wasn't him who got fooled. It was all of us who saw it happen.
So as we all know, Argentina just lost the World Cup. And guys, the capital, Buenos Aires, looks ugly. Fans were clashing with police all night as if they were the reason Argentina lost. The police had riot gear on and had to bring out water guns and rubber pellet guns. It was genuine riots happening. God bless those cops. The reality is, the real reason Argentina lost is because Messi played like trash.
Whoa. Don't talk about my goal like that.
This is my video. Get out.
Guys, I just got to the game. It is absolutely insane over here. But I also just came across a video of what Times Square looks like. That place looks mad. It's gonna be a crazy one, guys. I guess we'll see what happens. I'll post updates and keep you guys posted. Things are about to get interesting, guys. The FBI just opened up an investigation into Argentina's national football team. The reason for this is alleged money laundering, wire fraud, and tax evasion. I guess you could say things are getting messy. Now, what's crazy is I don't think this investigation has anything to do with the current World Cup, but honestly, based on their last game against Egypt and how suspiciously horrible the refereeing was, I wouldn't be surprised if there's something there too. I'm not even a supporter of the YouTuber Ronaldo, and I still think something fishy was going on in that last game. That ref made some horrible calls. An assistant teacher was just arrested after allegedly stinking up his entire school with fart spray. Can't make this up. It was apparently so bad that it caused students to get sick, requesting medical attention for respiratory issues, and on top of that, all of this cost $55,000 in damages. Now you're probably wondering how that's even possible from fart spray, but apparently this guy sprayed it over the course of a month, and the school had no idea what the stench was coming from. So they spent over $55,000 inspecting the air conditioning because they thought it was the issue. The craziest part is this guy won't tell anyone why he did it. For a whole month, he's secretly spraying this stuff as students are wheezing and gagging as they go through the hallways. Meanwhile, he's just standing there like this, knowing he's the one behind it all. What do you even tell someone in prison when they ask what you're in for? Today is day 6 of NASA's Artemis 2 mission, which means that it's the same day these astronauts are orbiting the moon. It's being live streamed right now, and it's kind of crazy to think that this is just happening somewhere while I sit in this chair making this video. The astronauts on board literally just broke a record for the farthest humans have ever traveled from Earth. This is one of the most recent pictures they just took of the moon. I'm just kidding, that's a tortilla. This is the actual picture. And then there's this clip of a jar of Nutella floating past the camera, which might just be the best accidental ad of all time. I'd be surprised if Nutella doesn't do anything with that. Anyways, they're getting quite close to the backside of the moon as I make this video. I'll probably drop another update soon. Subscribe. So if you haven't been living under a rock, you would know that this game, Mecha Chameleon, has been blowing up as of late, and guys, I decided to give it a shot. But instead of just playing the game with some friends, I found 3 of the most talented artists I could find to play the game against 3 creators. It was basically a 3v3, artists versus creators. As creators, our goal was literally just to win one game, and well, if you want to see what happens, you can find the video right here on my channel. So Australia just made history after becoming the first ever country on Earth to completely ban social media for children. That is right, this is the notification Instagram users under the age of 16 got, and as you can see, it says they won't be able to use social media until they turn 16. I honestly don't know how to feel about this. I mean, on one hand, I understand it because social media is genuinely rotting our brains, especially when you give it to a kid in this AI slop misinformation era. But on the other hand, I do feel like parents should be the ones enforcing these rules at the end of the day, not the government. And the whole ID verification thing is really scary. Throwback to last summer when 3 friends in China got really drunk after a night out drinking, and they decided that they were going to be responsible and not drive home. But instead of just like Ubering or whatever the Chinese equivalent to that is, they decided to push their car all the way home. Now, unfortunately, as you'd expect, they did not get away with this because police saw 3 shirtless dudes pushing a car down a main road at night and thought, you know what, we should probably take a look at this. The guys ultimately did not get a DUI, but they still got fined for blocking traffic and creating a road hazard. At least they were trying to do the right thing, and to be fair, it could have been way worse. Just when I thought the world couldn't get any worse, a new trend has emerged in China: adult pacifiers. Apparently, some people are using these to cope with stress, anxiety, and insomnia. And according to this article, some Chinese companies are selling around 2,000 of them a month. And of course, just like every weird Chinese trend, they're coming to the US. We already have adults on TikTok showing off their adult pacifiers. Like, what happened to fidget spinners? Can we not go back to fidget spinners? Anyways, I'm really praying here that this is a short-lived trend because I think it's one of the worst ones I've seen in a while. New interior design trend just dropped, guys. I came across this video of a dude who is making a ground beef accent wall in his home. Okay, jokes aside, this dude's entire account is dedicated to rage bait, and it seems to be working. I'm most impressed by the amount of dedication that goes into it, though. I can't imagine how much time it must have took him to fill his entire wall with ground beef just for a video. Funny enough, more of this dude's rage bait happens to be in my last Try Not to Rage Bait video. If you want to check it out, you can see it right here on my channel. So I recently came across a list of baby names that have been banned within the United States before, and it is very interesting to say the least. The names are King, Queen, Jesus Christ, 3 in Roman numerals, Santa Claus, Majesty, German guy we're not going to talk about, Messiah, @ and 1069. Now keep in mind, each state in the US makes its own rules when it comes to naming children. So for example, states like Illinois and South Carolina actually do allow numbers and symbols, whereas most other states do not. And then you got Kentucky, where pretty much anything goes, no rules at all. It gets even weirder when you look at countries, like for example in Italy, you can't name your kid Friday, but you can name him Saturday and every other day of the week. So yeah, not sure why that's a thing. Guys, this purple prime might genuinely be the worst drink ever created. First of all, it's actually totally banned. You literally cannot get this flavor anymore because Prime actually got sued. Apparently, the grape flavor had a really high amount of something called forever chemicals, which are linked to cancer and a whole bunch of other issues. And I'm honestly not surprised because it genuinely tastes like it's not meant for human consumption. Anyways, Prime used to send me like cases of this stuff. I don't remember ever trying this flavor, but I just did in my recent video where I try snacks that no longer exist. If you want to check it out, it's here on my channel. Do you guys remember the Willy Wonka experience that was hyped up to be this incredible event for Willy Wonka fans as it was marketed with these colorful AI generated images? And then it turned out to be a massive disaster because it looked like this. And people paid for that. Well, it basically just happened again. This time around, it's the Barbie Dream Fest, which was just held in Florida. Barbie fans from all over traveled to Florida to step into what they thought was going to be Barbie's pink paradise. And instead, they got this. Not at all what they were expecting. I think this girl's expression really says it all. One person online said that they spent around $1,000 in total to be there between their hotel and ticket, and as you can see, this looks like something that should be no more than 10 bucks. She also mentioned that the only thing in the so-called swag bags that they were given was Dollar Tree hand sanitizer with the word Barbie slapped on it. It's actually pathetic that this happened. All of it's also so surprising considering the fact that, unlike the Willy Wonka experience, this was an official event. I just feel bad, man. These people deserve refunds. This is horrible. Throwback to 1983 when a fan wrote a letter to Steve Jobs asking for an autograph. Steve Jobs wrote back to this fan saying, "I'm honored that you'd write, but I'm afraid I don't sign autographs." And then he signed the letter where he just declined the autograph. Fast forward to 2021 when this same letter went for $480,000 at auction. It's pretty awesome, but I don't know if it beats the Kanye West signature where this guy on Reddit said, "I met Kanye today but didn't have a pen or paper, so he signed my notes." And then it just says Kanye with absolutely nothing else. I guess this guy can't sell his or prove it in any way. So I recently spent my money on the game Coconut Simulator 2 so that you guys don't have to. And I talked about how in the game you're a coconut. And that's it. You can't do anything but look around. That's the whole game. But today I made a shocking discovery. There's two game modes. Arcade mode, that's the one I just showed you, and realistic mode. I just tried it out. It brings up a screen that says Coconut has no eyes or ears so you can't see or hear anything. And then it's just a black screen, that's it. Just about as realistic as it gets. Anyways, let me know what game I should review next. Throwback to when a cereal company from England ran a marketing campaign where they put up this billboard everywhere that says Michael Jordan loves our cereal. The thing is, it wasn't the Michael Jordan everybody thought it was when they saw the ad. It was just a random dude from England who just so happened to also be named Michael Jordan. They also had one that said official cereal of Ronaldo, also a different Ronaldo. Another one that says Serena Williams eats our cereal, even though it was just a random girl who was paid to eat it. And then another one that said we're Dwayne Johnson's favorite cereal. But Dwayne Johnson was just a bus driver from London. Probably some of the best low budget marketing of all time. I'm sold. So not too long ago, this Ring camera footage went super viral online of a neighbor extremely concerned. He kept on hearing the guy he lived next to screaming help from his own apartment.
Help me! Somebody help me!
Obviously, that's a concerning thing, especially if he knew the guy lived alone, so he decides to break the door down completely. Now, the video cuts off right as he does barge towards the door, probably because it broke the camera, but once he broke the door down, he just found out that his buddy was playing Ark Raiders, and he needed help in the game. Probably had headphones on. Regardless, though, even though the neighbor broke his door, you can't be mad at him at all. This is a great neighbor, and that was the right thing to do. Or after he barged in, he saw the game, grabbed the controller, and made sure to win it for him. I don't know how Ark Raiders works, but that's a funny thought. Jokes aside, shout out to this guy, Neighbor of the Year. Throwback to 2004 when two college students pulled off what may have been the greatest prank of all time. It all started when Harvard and Yale were about to face off in a college football rivalry game so heated that these guys spent nearly a year planning the prank. They recruited about 20 classmates, forged fake Harvard IDs, printed Harvard Pep Squad t-shirts, and then once they got in, they showed up to the Harvard side of the stadium like they were working there as the Pep Squad. Then they handed out big red and white cards to about 1,800 Harvard fans. They told them that when they held those cards up, it would spell Go Harvard, and those fans were all about it. So when halftime rolled around and it was time for them to raise their cards, it spelled out We Suck, not Go Harvard. The best part is that most people involved left the stadium without even realizing it happened. Obviously, the whole prank went viral. These guys became campus legends, and it's still being talked about to this day. One of my favorite pranks on all of YouTube is when two guys posted a video called Toy Story 3 Prank. It was 14 years ago, and what they did was take the entire Toy Story 3 movie, and then they went through and edited the movie so that it ends at the worst point where they're all like about to die. They just have it fully cut to the credits right after this part where they're all about to fall into the fire. Then they tell their mom that they want to watch Toy Story 3 with her, and she sits down, watches the entire movie just for it to end like this. Mom was in complete disbelief after seeing this. She couldn't believe this was a Disney movie. And the best or worst part is that they waited till the next day to tell her it was a prank. They made her go to bed thinking that was the end of the movie. She was quite relieved when they finally told her in the morning, but I can't imagine how depressing those 8 to 12 hours would have been. Throwback to one of the best protests of all time when these South Korean students were fed up with how much air gets pumped into potato chip bags, so they decided to build a raft by taping 160 unopened potato chip bags together. Once it was made, two of the students got in the raft and they successfully paddled over half a mile across a river. The craziest part is that it actually got the attention of the chip company that they were protesting. Not too long after they pulled off this stunt, the company put out a statement that they were going to either put more chips in their bags or reduce the size of the bags. It was beautiful. Also, such a valid reason to protest. back to 2017 when this school in England was in the midst of a massive heat wave, and because of it, the boys at the school asked if they could have permission to wear shorts during the day, but the school said no because shorts were not part of the official uniform. But instead of accepting defeat and putting on hot, sweaty, long pants, the boys decided to get creative, and they wore skirts to school the next day. It started out with 5 brave students who decided to start things off, and by the end of the week, there were over 50 dudes wearing plaid skirts to school. The whole story went viral, blew up online, and nonetheless, the school ended up changing their policy and allowing the boys to wear shorts. Probably one of my favorite protests of all time. I mean, these guys made history. This is something I would tell my kids about. Guys, this might be the best story I've told in a while. There's a guy on TikTok who's been going viral because one day he decided to go to this restaurant simply because he thought it had a funny name. He walks in there, he meets the owner of the restaurant. She's this really sweet lady, and nobody had been in the restaurant for hours before he came in. He ends up ordering his food. It's incredible, and then she decides that she wants to give him his meal for free out of the kindness of her heart. He ended up paying anyways by just dropping the cash and leaving so that she had no choice, and later on he came back in, talked to her about her story, and that's when she told him that she is homeless. After hearing that news, he decided to start a GoFundMe for her, and since then it has raised $120,000. And because of how viral these videos have gone, the restaurant is now packed. Honestly, she deserves every bit of this, all because some guy thought a random Vietnamese restaurant had a funny name. Pretty crazy how life works. Guys, we may have just witnessed the best Scientology run yet. I thought it was over, but no, it looks like things are still just getting started. This time around, it's a bunch of people who are dressed up, and they got Jesus leading the pack. He yanks on the door nonstop, doesn't care about security. They finally get through, and everybody scatters. There's literally nothing the people in the building can do at this point. They made it so deep into the building, I don't even know how many floors they got up, but it looks like absolute chaos for whoever is in charge of the place. It has literally gotten so out of hand that Scientology buildings are now taking off the door handles so that nobody can pry through them, which I'm pretty sure is illegal because of like fire hazards, but I guess they have no choice. I love when the internet comes together to do something awesome like this. Absolute cinema. So not too long ago, some guy on TikTok got a new job, and then he posted this picture that said, "Just started as a social media manager. Can you guys please blow up only the most recent posts so they think I'm way better at my job than I am?" He definitely didn't expect this to happen, but that post ended up getting 3.7 million views, and everyone flocked to the account that he was running as the social media manager. And that most recent post, which was his first, ended up getting almost 1 million views, 100,000 likes, and all of the comments had his back. Someone said, "I like this, nothing before this, but like just starting now." Someone said, "What a jump in social media quality." Another person said, "This specific video and everything after has influenced me." None of the older content though. They might have made it a little bit obvious as to what happened. The owner may have found out, but regardless, it's cool to see how the internet came together for this random guy to help him out with his new job. They're back to a couple years ago when someone hated a TikTok comment so much that they replied to it saying, "You getting a whole Times Square billboard." And then shortly after that, this video surfaces on the internet of legendary Savage 21 just getting fully aired out on a Times Square billboard. Now, I don't even know what the context of this comment was, but it must have been pretty bad for this guy to put his time and money into something like this. Anyways, since this billboard surfaced, legendary Savage 21 has never been heard from again. He's off the internet, and honestly, I don't blame him. I'd probably do the same thing if this happened to me. These are the biggest debates to ever surface on the internet, starting with the one you all probably know, the dress. Is it white and gold, or is it black and blue? This thing genuinely made my middle school feel like it was divided into 2 rival gangs. Next up, the Yanny vs. Laurel debate. Which one do you hear?
Laurel.
Then there was this picture of shoes. Nobody knew if it was pink and white or gray and teal. Personally, I see pink and white. Then the spinning dancer illusion. Is it going clockwise or counterclockwise? There's like a way to program your brain into changing the way it spins, but it's really hard to do. As far as debates go, one of the biggest questions is water wet? Is a hot dog a sandwich? Should pineapple be on pizza? Are boneless wings just nuggets? And most recently, the biggest question was, could 100 humans beat 1 gorilla? Anyways, the comment section on this video is going to be like World War III. Every day I think about this channel on YouTube called Good Mythical Night. And 11 years ago, he posted Good Mythical Night episode 1, but then he was just never heard from again. Disappeared, fell off the face of the earth. To this day, the many Good Mythical Night fans, including myself, have been patiently waiting for Good Mythical Night episode 2 to drop, but we may never see it. Obviously, you know, it's a spin-off of Good Mythical Morning, so part of me thinks maybe Rhett and Link were not having it and they sent him a cease and desist immediately, or even worse, took him out. Probably one of the biggest mysteries on YouTube to this day. One Something I find hilarious is when people admit to doing illegal things because they want to brag about it online. And that's exactly what we saw with this post online, where someone was bragging about how they got their DoorDash for free. It says, shout out to ChatGPT, shows the clearly cooked chicken that they received, but then they told ChatGPT to make it look raw, and this is what it looked like. Then, of course, they submit the AI image to DoorDash complaining their chicken was raw. DoorDash gives them a refund, and then they basically stole their dinner. The best part, though, is that DoorDash saw the video, then their admin leaves a generational comment. Oops, should have blocked us. Probably banned them on DoorDash. And then the creator tries to play it off as if their chicken was actually raw. Like, what do? You just admitted to it. You really gotta be a piece of work to not only do this, but brag about it online. What a world we live in. Guys, we are in the midst of what has to be the most unemployed lawsuit of all time. It's what many people are calling a federal custody battle over Tung 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 Sahur. Basically, this company called Momentum Labs says they have a deal with Noxa, the original prompter of Tung 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 Sahur, and that agreement says they have the right to commercialize and license the character. The thing is, Triple T is used in Steal a Brain Rot, like the most popular Roblox game right now, and it was just recently brought to Fortnite. Because of that, Epic Games and the creators of Steal a Brain Rot are in the middle of this, but the creators of Steal a Brain Rot defended this, saying that AI-generated characters can't be copyrighted. I can't believe I just broke that down. Anyways, I'm kind of on Fortnite and Steal a Brain Rot side, but I guess we'll see what happens. So a student at the University of Alabama is going super viral right now after he accidentally sent an email to literally everyone at the school. Basically, he was trying to send a recommendation letter that was written for him to the Honor Society, but because of some sort of glitch that he accidentally triggered in the system, that email was sent out to over 40,000 students, the entire student body. Right after he sent it, his phone started exploding with texts and calls from friends who were like, why did you just send me a letter of recommendation? He was worried about the whole thing at first because, I mean, who wouldn't be? But it actually all worked out in his favor. He's essentially a local celebrity on campus because, well, pretty much everyone knows him now, and he got into the Honor Society. Throwback to 1978 when this guy ate an entire plane. I am not even kidding. He did this by breaking down the plane into a bunch of smaller parts, and then over the course of 2 years, he consumed and digested each of those parts until the entire plane had been finished. Now, the reason he was able to digest a plane's metal is because he had this really rare medical condition, and it gave him an appetite for the most unusual objects. He first found out that he had this condition when he was only 9 years old, and since then, he has eaten a lot of weird things, some of which being 18 bicycles, 15 shopping carts, 7 TV sets, 6 chandeliers, 2 beds, 45 door hinges, and a lot more. Now, because of all of this, he was actually given the Guinness World Record for the world's most unusual diet, and he ended up eating the plaque for that too. Well, guys, we already just witnessed one of the craziest World Cup stories yet, and the tournament just started. Cape Verde, an island nation off the coast of Africa with a population of around 500,000, just went against Spain, a team that is considered one of the favorites to win it all with a population of around 50 million people, and Cape Verde held them to 0 goals. They drew. Now, the craziest part about this is what happens to their goalkeeper. Before that game started, he had around 20,000 followers on Instagram. He ended up having one of the greatest games of his career with 7 saves on some of the world's best players. He's 40 years old, and within hours, his Instagram blew up. Right now, it's sitting at 4.4 million followers. It's got to be the fastest growing profile online today. I haven't seen something like this since Ronaldo created his YouTube channel, and that's Ronaldo. This is a 40-year-old player nearing retirement who nobody's really heard of, who just had a life-changing game. Throwback to last year's Olympic shooting event, where every country sent out these elite shooters decked out in high-tech gear, looking like they were built in a lab for this. And then there was this dude who pulled up in a t-shirt with his hand in his pocket, looking like he had just clocked out of a shift at work and decided last minute, you know what, I'm gonna give the Olympics a shot today. He ended up winning silver, becoming an internet legend, and to this day, nobody remembers who won gold. Only him. Personally, I'm still stuck on the theory that he's a retired hitman who intentionally took silver so he didn't raise suspicions, but just me, I don't know. Today I came across this video of a woman talking about a YouTube channel who she's been subscribed to for ages. Basically, she explains that this dude has been posting consistently for like 12 years and that she's been using his videos without realizing he only had 109 subscribers.
I use his piano instrumentals for covers all the time, and I just noticed that he has 109 freaking subscribers.
Now, after she put this video out, it performed quite well, and now the Michaels Yamaha 155 1HOURJohn channel on YouTube is sitting at 67.3 subscribers. I gave the channel a look myself, and it does look like this guy has been at it for around 12 years. He seems like a super wholesome dude as well. Anyways, I wanted to make a video about this because we got to push this guy to 100k subs, if not more. Matter of fact, let's see how many subscribers we can get this guy. Go do it. And follow me while you're at it too. I'll post updates. Throwback to 2015 when this guy, who happened to be a former Google employee, was scrolling around Google's domain website. And while looking around, he noticed that google.com was available to purchase for $12. He was obviously quite confused and decided to try and buy it because why not? And to his surprise, it actually worked. This random dude now had access to the most valuable domain in the world. But Google luckily caught on quite quickly, and about a minute later, his ownership was revoked. The man did end up reporting the glitch, and out of appreciation, Google sent him this amount of money, which, as you can see, spells Google. A Korean lawmaker recently apologized after he was caught drawing gorillas in a parliament meeting. As you can see, he had gorillas pulled up on his computer and he was just locked in, doodling away. In his apology, he said that this is his way to relieve tension and that he usually draws small ones, but that he drew a big one this time. It must have been a lot of tension. Honestly, I don't think this guy did anything wrong. Let the man doodle. Sometimes a guy's got to take the edge off a little bit, and that's exactly what he was doing. It's a pretty solid drawing too. So a teenager from Australia was just charged after allegedly gluing googly eyes to this $88,000 sculpture known as the Blue Blob. Here's what it looked like after his act of vandalism, and I'm not gonna lie, it might be better. It reminds me of that one time a security guard at an art gallery in Russia drew eyes on a painting because he simply didn't like it. The painting was worth nearly $1 million too. Needless to say, he was fired after just his first day on the job. A man from California who was arrested for stealing a car and had a scheduled court date was arrested again after he appeared to that scheduled court date, and you guessed it, another stolen car. Here he is being arrested. Oh my goodness. How dumb do you have to be? I guess he's gonna have another court date really soon, and for this one, hopefully he's learned his lesson. So I recently came across a story about a 12-year-old boy who dropped out of middle school so that he can pursue Fortnite. Yeah, the craziest part about the whole thing is that his parents are actually on board with this. They want him to do it. Anyways, I just did a whole deep dive into this situation to understand why. So if you want to check it out, I'll attach it below. Escaping North Korea is supposed to be nearly impossible, but in 2016, one man accidentally pulled it off after getting absolutely hammered. It all started one day after some heavy drinking when this dude in his 20s somehow ended up floating down a river, holding on to nothing but a piece of wood. Now this river that he was floating through while seemingly blackout drunk just so happened to go through the heavily guarded border of North and South Korea. Guards watch this area constantly and people risk their lives trying to get across, but this dude was so drunk and somehow got away without anyone noticing. Eventually he drifted onto an island controlled by South Korea, and when soldiers found him, he was still wasted in his underwear clutching onto that floating piece of wood. The crazy thing is that according to reports, he wasn't even trying to defect. He just got blasted and somehow floated into freedom. Remember that guy who went super viral for tattooing KSI on his body, including his face, every single day until KSI notices him? Well, it turns out none of it was real. He faked the whole thing and fooled everyone. Luckily, I never made a video about this, but I saw it everywhere and I honestly thought it was real. He just came out with this video where he basically says it was all a big prank / social experiment to see if people believe what they see online, and I guess it worked. This might actually be the first time someone tried to fool the internet and succeeded since like Nikocado Avocado, if you remember that. One of the best plot twists of the decade. I gotta give it to him. Every day I think about this guy on Facebook, Devin Lilly, who I guess forgot his password on Facebook over 100 times. And that's why when you click on one of his accounts, he's friends with all of his other accounts for which he forgot the password. As you can see, each individual account has a different profile picture, although he's doing the same exact face in every picture. I gotta say, it's quite funny how many accounts Devin Lilly has created with the exact same facial expression in every single profile picture, but it's also quite sad what Alzheimer's can do to the brain. I'm assuming it's Alzheimer's. Shout out Devin Lilly, God bless you, man. Today I learned that the creator behind this 10-hour fireplace YouTube video has made over $1 million. And the crazy thing is that this is the only video on the channel. The channel is literally called Fireplace 10 Hours. Now it is important to note that this number is an estimate. It could be a little more, it could be a little less, but the fact that someone woke up one day, made the easiest video ever, and 9 years later it has 150 million views and made a lifetime's worth of money is kind of crazy to me. So you've probably heard that saying about finding a needle in a haystack used to describe when something is basically impossible. And well, what if I told you that in 2014 this guy decided to put that saying to the test and he actually tried to find a needle in a haystack? Apparently his justification for putting himself through this absolute torture was as a form of performative art. And after 18 hours of performing, he actually found the needle. Listen, I love art, but performance art will always blow my mind. I mean, people will do the most ridiculous, most psychotic things, but then they call it art, and everybody's just like, oh, it's art? That's sick. That's so cool. Throwback to 2011 when a man from Australia found an ATM glitch that allowed him to withdraw money that far exceeded the actual amount of money he had in his bank account. Nobody seemed to catch on to this guy's money glitch, so he just kept on doing it over and over again. And over the course of 5 months, he spent around $1.6 million of the bank's money and lived like an absolute king, also bringing his friends along for the ride. He basically had the time of his life for about 6 months, but started to feel guilty and also thought the cops in the bank were onto him, so he decided to turn himself in. And when he turned himself in, the bank told him they knew about it the entire time. They just didn't want to report him because the public would find out and it would make the bank look untrustworthy. I would crumble to my knees if I were in his shoes and then found out I could have just kept doing it. He ended up getting sentenced to 1 year in jail and then returned to his old job as a bartender. Honestly, all of that for just 1 year in prison might have been worth it. One thing I find so crazy is the lengths to which GTA 6 fans have gone in order to learn more about the game. They have picked everything apart. I recently came across this video of some guy who was watching the trailer and noticed that they were making music in the background, so he decided to remake the exact beat that they had made in the game. It sounded like this. I swear to God, if they delay the game again, it is this dude's fault. Anyways, here are some of the actual songs we think could hit the GTA 6 radio with their Kalshi betting odds. All good songs, I'm not complaining about any of these. And then these are the songs that are confirmed to be in the game already. I cannot wait. Well, guys, it was bound to happen. Clavicular, the world's most famous looks-maxer right now, was just arrested for the 2nd time. When the news first came out, everybody thought this was because he shot an alligator in the Everglades on stream, but it's actually looking even worse. His booking shows that he was charged with battery. Apparently, it's related to a separate situation which happened a while back where he told his girlfriend to beat up another girl for content on stream. It's a long story, but it was really bad. I think my favorite part about all of this is that the police department listed him as 5'11", despite the fact that he claims to be 6'2". I wouldn't be surprised if he's more worried about that coming out than the time he's facing in prison. So a 19-year-old is currently stuck in Antarctica in the middle of the winter, and to be honest, it's not looking good for him. He was on a mission to fly to all 7 continents, raising money for childhood cancer along the way. His final stop was Antarctica, but the problem was he didn't really have permission to land there. He landed at this Chilean base, and once he got there, he was immediately arrested by Chilean authorities. Now, Chile claims this part of Antarctica as their own, but most countries, including the US, don't recognize it since the Antarctic Treaty made it so that no country could claim any parts of it. Chile is arguing that since he landed at their base and violated their airspace laws, they have the right to arrest and detain him. And so for now, he's just stuck there. He can't leave because of how bad the weather is, and it might just be the worst place on Earth to ever be stuck and in legal trouble. Hopefully he makes it out soon. I'll keep you guys in the loop. So not too long ago, this video went viral of a SWAT officer scrolling through a dating app during the middle of a SWAT raid. Apparently, they were in the middle of a standoff with an armed suspect, and this guy was seen just casually scrolling through Hinge. Now, I might be missing something about this, but on every post I've seen about it, people are defending the guy. This guy said, "Why does it matter?" Another person said, "Who cares?" And this person argued that everyone uses their phone while they're at work. I think it's a little different when your work is a SWAT operation. Like, okay, it's one thing if you work in an office, but the suspect was active, armed, and he's just behind the car scrolling. I don't know. Yes, this is a real image from Irish Parliament, and yes, that is a bald baby JD Vance meme she's holding in her hand. Now, you might be wondering why, and it's because she was talking about a Norwegian tourist who recently claimed he was denied entry into the United States because authorities questioned him when he arrived, searched his phone, found that image, and were apparently so disturbed by it that they sent him on a flight back home to Norway. Now, Border Patrol did come out and say that this wasn't the reason at all, but I looked into their argument, and it doesn't really add up. So me personally, I do believe that Border Patrol was on a power trip and got offended by the JD Vance meme. Hopefully my phone never gets searched by authorities because they're gonna find that one, along with this one, this one, this one, and this one. So a maintenance worker just got stuck about 130 feet in the air inside of a gas station sign after his lift malfunctioned. The sign was off a major highway in Illinois, and once fire officials responded, they had a hard time finding a lift big enough to actually retrieve the man from the sign because their equipment is usually only 100 feet tall. Luckily, they eventually found a lift tall enough, had to go get it over there, and after 5 hours stuck 130 feet in the air, they finally rescued the man. Hopefully he gets paid for the extra time time he was just sitting up there. Today I learned about this guy, a Soviet astronaut who was orbiting Earth in 1991 before he got one of the last messages you ever want to hear as an astronaut orbiting Earth. The message from ground control stated, "You must remain in space as the country that sent you no longer exists." His country was literally gone as he was in space. Basically, after he was launched into space and put into orbit, the Soviet Union, where he was from, started to collapse. And because of the transition before the Soviet Union became Russia, the government basically had so much more to worry about and kind of just told him to wait on up there. So instead of spending 150 days in space as planned, he had to spend almost double that. Finally, after 311 days in space, the Russian space program was reorganized and they were able to bring him home in a new country. That is an original experience if I have ever heard of one. Alright guys, this one's nuts. A man accidentally gained control over 7,000 robot vacuums, and it was simply because he was trying to figure out a way to steer his own robot vacuum with his own PS5 controller. Basically, he bought this DJI vacuum and didn't want to use the normal app to control it. He was a tech-savvy guy, so he decided to try and crack their system open so that he could use his controller. And while he was doing this, he cracked their system open a bit too easily. So easily that he ended up getting access to almost every DJI vacuum that's set up in the world. This guy could control every single vacuum and had access to their live camera feeds, all because he just wanted to steer his vacuum with a joystick. Luckily, he did the right thing and reported it, and DJI fixed the issue, but that is scary that was just able to happen. Today I learned about this dude from Uganda who has 102 kids with 12 different wives. He started back in the 70s marrying his first wife when he was just 17 years old. Now he has so many kids that he quite literally can't remember most of their names. On top of the 102 kids, he has 578 grandchildren, and that number might be higher by the time you're watching this video. Luckily, he finally decided enough is enough. He's done having kids. What took him this long to realize enough is enough? Who knows? I feel like after 12 kids, when he realized he's having a hard time remembering their names, he should have slowed down a little bit, but I guess not.